This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Good morning. Welcome to INC Radio South Central States. As you can see, we are not in studio today. We have a new studio, and it is outside of Janice's house. Welcome our guest here, Janice.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, where do you live?
I live in Azle, Texas. It's more of like northwest of Fort Worth.
Okay. So, as you can see, we are outdoors because our topic today is going to be about gardening. Okay. Just a heads up. I am not an expert on gardening, and neither is Janice. She just started. But we just wanted to kind of share with you our experiences with gardening and how I guess it's not so scary. So maybe that's something that you guys can do. So I hope you guys will enjoy our show today. So first of all, Janice, when did you start gardening and kind of why did you start doing it?
I guess I should say, like, since I was young, I really liked gardening because in the Philippines, you have this subject called home economics.
Yes.
And I remember, like, grade school, you have our own plot. You got to make sure you keep it alive. And we have to gather our own cow poop. Yep, you got to put it in a bag and bring it in school and all that. And then just growing up, I guess I see my mom. I felt like she really had a green thumb. She's the kind that, like, she'll break something and then just put it on the soil and it'll grow. And when we lived in California, we didn't have a big yard, but I stayed planting anything from indoor plants or vegetable garden.
Nice. So you said you wanted to do it ever since you were a kid.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself to have a green thumb?
People say I do, but I don't believe that yet because there's a lot of things that you need to learn with gardening. I don't think it's something that I just like suddenly woke up and whatever I plant, like what I said, it'll grow. It's a lot of things that you need to learn, but it's not as scary. You don't have to have a green thumb to grow a garden.
So what made you decide to actually start gardening?
Okay, so where we live right now, it's kind of far from the city, especially from the Asian stores. So a lot of my vegetables, like the regular Filipino Asians or vegetables, they're kind of hard to find. We only have like Walmart here or Albertsons. So that's what kind of like really pushed me to do a vegetable garden. Yeah.
So we have comments in the chat, and we have Brother Andre Silva. He says he's got a black thumb. So I guess that means he can't grow anything. Maybe you should watch and learn some few tips, right? And maybe you'll end up with a green thumb. For me, I'm the same thing. You know, growing up, my grandma had a garden. She had like acreage in her backyard. And so she grew all the different things, anything from vegetables to fruits and things like that. And I thought it was the coolest thing because growing up, we never had to go to the grocery store. Everything we needed was there. And so we would harvest, we would freeze it so that it's good. And then when I grew up, I'm like, I thought that's how everybody lived, right? It's little did I know that you actually have to go to the grocery stores.
Yeah.
What are the benefits of gardening?
Well, first of all, it's like you can do it like I do it everything organically. So that's lots of benefits from there. You know exactly what you're eating. And then when I'm by myself, I usually don't really wear gloves when I'm gardening because I believe that there's this bacteria in the soil when you touch it, when you're in contact, it kind of releases this happy or feel good hormone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So after work or when I'm not anywhere like church or anything, I come out here. I sit here, drink my coffee, just see what's growing, even though I planted it yesterday. To see if it's finally growing, stuff like that.
Yeah. I do the same thing. Because a lot of the stuff I do is from seed. Like I've tried to do like lemons, avocados, and also like mangoes, right, from a seed. And I would do that. And then every day I would go out and then I would take a picture just to see if it grows. I'm like, come on, hurry up. Where's my fruits?
Yeah. And I want to just really piggyback on that because you mentioned something seed. I don't know if you have anything about seeds later, but as you learn how to garden, you're really gonna just be smart and choose your battle. There's certain things that you really have to start from seeds, or you're just gonna have to find a good nursery and get the seedlings.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for me, I think it was more like of a challenge.
Yes.
And sometimes, like, let's say I wanted to plant a mango tree just to do it, right? I would literally just go to the store to buy a mango. I would eat it, and then I would do the thing because you watch
Yeah.
things on YouTube
Yes.
or on social media of all these people what they're doing, and so
Right.
that's what I try to do.
Okay.
And then, so like I said, it's successful. The only thing is, it just ends up dying because of the weather we have out here.
Yes, it's more challenging here, definitely. Not only because of the weather, it can get really hot, get cold, but the type of soil we have here.
So what do you do? Because, like you said, sometimes it gets really hot, sometimes it gets really cold. What are some of the precautions you have to take to make sure, hopefully, they don't die?
Okay. So I always start, I learn now what grows and what not. So I focus on those things that I know love the weather here. And then secondly, it's really hot during the summer, so nobody really want to go outside and start watering their plants. And you're not supposed to water when it's really hot anyways. So I asked my dad and my husband to help me build this water system that we actually have control over our phone, and you can either turn it off and turn it on how many times a day for how long, and when it rains you can turn it off and stuff like that.
So, why did you say you're not supposed to water when it's too hot?
Because you can burn the plant, and also it doesn't really benefit it because it will just get absorbed out in the environment. It's not benefiting your plant.
Oh, see, I did not know that.
So it's best to water early in the morning or late in the afternoon when it's not too hot anymore.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. So what are some of the challenges you face when let's say either you're starting out or when things are maturing? What are the different challenges you faced?
It's first thing is like the soil that I have to learn what to mix it with and all that. And then second, like the weather that's given here in North Texas, and also lots of the natural pests or bugs around here. We have tons.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, in our area, we don't have a lot of creatures. Sometimes we see bunnies and what oh, I forgot, squirrels that
Mm-hmm.
try to climb up our sunflowers. But other than that, we don't have deers that go over the fence and can really do a damage.
So, Brother Renz did put something in the chat that he does want to learn how to garden, but he's scared of the crawlers. Okay, so
Yes.
how can you not have crawlers?
Okay. Well, we have to have certain crawlers because they're healthy for your garden.
Okay.
Like the regular earthworms. When I was young, if I see that, I'll probably jump. Even though I grew up like we had a fish pond and we'll get earthworms to use as a bait. But I still was so scared about it. But now I get so happy if my soil, if I dig in there and there's earthworm, and it's like my first thing is like, oh yes, I have a healthy soil.
So, Brother Renz, creepy crawlers are good things, okay? So you're going to have to learn how to deal with it. But, if you want, you can be like me. I brought my gloves because we are going to touch dirt today. But put on gloves, and then that should save you. Rome does have a question for you. He wants to know, how long have you been gardening? And was there a lot of trial and error in the process?
I've been gardening like officially here since probably the first year we moved here in Texas. So we're going on 3 years right now. And the second question was, I'm sorry.
Challenges or trial and error when you just start.
It's finding out what really grows, because before I just like, oh, I want this vegetable, oh, I want this plant, and I'll just put it in the ground. But next thing I know, you know what, I can't really plant that because it's not the type of environment it will grow. Or the pest, like zucchini. It's my very first year. From the last 3 years, I successfully grew a zucchini, and I'm so excited. I probably picked maybe 4 zucchinis in the last 3 weeks. But I have to be out there. I have to be out there looking under the leaves if there's any any pests or bugs. And I don't use any pesticide.
Yeah,
or
that's why it's
insecticides.
organic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to be there, catch it early, or find some things that you can do your own to spray on them. That's really good for your environment.
So with that, Melanie was asking, how do you keep bugs and small animals from getting into the fruits and vegetables?
Um, so I have like birds. We have a lot of birds here. So luckily, I haven't really had damage from birds because I think if you see our trees here, I have a lot of bird houses and feeders. So I think that if I have that, it kind of keeps them away from my precious garden.
So that's what you do, feed the birds.
Yes, and also I don't know if you can see this. I have like little what do you call this?
Streamers.
Trimmers. So it's been studied that if you have those, they get flashy, like so they
Oh,
stay away from them. So I have them on my tomatoes, my strawberries, my blackberries, stuff
see,
like that.
I do see it around, and I was wondering what it was.
And
I thought
that's
it was just
recycled. It's one
decoration.
of those fringes from
Party.
party. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. See, learn that. Your party decorations, you guys can use it to decorate your trees to keep things away. Ro wants to know if he can come over here and buy veggies from you.
You don't have to buy a Rome. You can come over. Just bring your meat, and maybe we can cook something.
Okay, don't take it all, Rome, because maybe I'm gonna want some. And then because we are talking about gardening, Brother Romy says, oh, it's reminding him to water his veggies.
Oh yes. Oh, it's funny because his wife, this brother Romelu, right? Oh, Romelu.
Yeah.
Yeah. His wife kind of sent me a message every now and then because we both planted the garden at the chapel, and it was like whenever there's a flower, she sent me a picture, and we get excited about it.
Oh, that is so cool. And and it's good that it's there because maybe the children can see it, and then that will motivate them to get to do gardening. Melanie also asked, which fruits or veggies are the most beginner friendly?
Okay, for veggies, I think tomato. And later we can probably show you how to start a tomato garden. What else? Okras. They love Texas weather. Okras and eggplant.
Ooh.
Yes. And let's see. Basil. You always have to have that with your tomatoes. And then with fruits, strawberries. And it's our first year that our blackberries actually fruited.
Yeah.
It's just their second year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are actually really good. Except you just got to watch out because sometimes they could like stain you.
Yes, and they're invasive. But stain, you said stain? Okay. And I got the thornless variety.
Oh, see, yes.
Yes.
Because the one that grows wild, they actually have thorns. Yes. Yeah, I remember growing up, we had those all around and we would just grab it and eat it.
Yeah.
I guess back then everything was organic compared to what things are now. So Alan Warwick did put in the chat there. He said everything he learned about gardening, he learned on Farmville.
Oh,
Farmville. On your phone.
I think I heard about that, but I never tried it.
So Rome says he'll come and work as a scarecrow for your veggies. In exchange for your veggies. So that's what he'll like to do.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Now there was a suggestion from JR. He said spray with lemon and baking soda as a repellent to pests. Have you done that?
I haven't tried the lemon because if you do it at the wrong timing, it can burn the leaves of your vegetable. So I use mostly neem oil.
Okay.
So that one, it doesn't really burn. I just usually do it early in the morning or late at night.
Okay.
Yeah. Or baking soda, they said, but you just have to find like baking soda is really good for your tomatoes. You just have to know when to spray them. Yeah.
So Brother Oliver Villanueva, he does hydroponics.
Oh, yes.
What is that?
So it's growing vegetables without soil. So it's hydro, it's water. I've been watching a lot of those. I really want that, but I don't know if I can do that yet because I don't have the space indoor. But outside, I'm kind of worried about making sure the mosquitoes doesn't get in them.
Yes.
There's proper technique and all that, but that's really cool. I really like that.
Because he said he was able to grow lettuce, tomatoes, and basil and calamansi.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of Chicago winter. So that's a great accomplishment, right? I've been able to grow tomatoes because I think it is something that is kind of easy to do, and it's actually born fruit. And all of my tomatoes I've done from seed.
Oh,
because like they have it at Home Depot where you could buy it. But this one I've actually done from seed, which I thought was the coolest thing.
Yeah, and then you just actually let it dry in your garden. Next year, I have a few of them. That's how I got them from. Is just letting the seed somewhere, and then it'll grow.
See, I don't even dry it. Like when I eat a tomato, especially like when I make guacamole, I don't like to have the seed and make the guacamole watery. So I would take the seed out and just cut the tomatoes. And then all the seed, literally, I just threw it there, and I'm like, hopefully
Yeah.
it's going to grow, and it does grow, right? Okay, so before we continue on, because the next thing we're going to do is you want to show us how to do the recycling stuff, right?
Yes.
But before we do that, we're going to go to our first thinking cap. And fortunately today, because I don't have access to the computer because we're kind of far away, we've got AJ there running our today. And so he's going to do our thinking cap for us. So go ahead, AJ, show them the first thinking cap.
Let me get this pulled up.
And don't forget, when you do your thinking cap, only put A, B, C, or D, only the letters. No need to type out the actual answer. And then that way you guys will get points. This is the last thinking cap for the month of May. So get your answers in, and then we'll post who wins next week. You ready to share the screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Go ahead.
So the first thinking cap is, what is an annual plant? Is it A, one that flowers yearly? B, one that lives for only a year? C, one that doubles in size every year? Or D, one that flowers twice a year?
Okay, so typing in your answers, and let's see who gets it correct. Okay, we'll leave it up there for a little bit while we start talking. Okay, so what you want to show us is you want to show us how to make fertilizer, right? Yes. Recycle fertilizer. Yeah. First of all, what are the different things you use to recycle for fertilizer?
So I have a small compost bin in there. So the kitchen scraps, I just save and throw it in there, and then water it at, I don't know if you're familiar with composting, but you have to have something that's like fresh, like your cut vegetables that you don't use, or something went bad in your fridge, you just throw it in there. Or the dry part, which is like your dry leaves, cardboards, and all that stuff.
So you could, like, anything food.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't have to just be bananas or coffee grinds.
No, that's my compost.
Okay.
But for something that I prep ahead of time and just be ready in a few days, this is the banana peel. So a lot of people knows that. I have this little container right here. So I tell my husband, oh, don't throw your banana peel, put it in that bin. So I just put the banana peel in there, and then fill it with water. And maybe after a week, it turns into a brown like this. It's called my banana tea. And then I just use this to water certain plants.
So you just use the water. You're not actually using the banana.
You can, but I'm using it as a water.
So
I don't bury it in the soil and all that stuff, but people does.
So you just keep adding water to this.
Yes, and adding more bananas.
Now, does it ever like go bad where you got to change the skin?
This is probably about more than 2 weeks.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's still good, because the longer it is, it ferments, and stronger it is.
So what does this do? Why does that benefit a plant?
So this one is probably really good with certain vegetables like my tomatoes and peppers.
What does it do to it?
It adds it helps retain the nitrogen in the soil, and it makes your plant grows healthier and blooms and fruit more.
Does it make it bigger?
I guess. And I'm still learning on that part, if it can make it bigger.
Okay.
And then the other one is almost the same thing, but I learned something new this year, because last year, up to this year, you know how people save their eggshells?
Mm-hmm.
Before, I've seen people do it like, fresh from cooking, they just put it on the pot or put it in the soil. But I learned that it takes years before they actually benefit your plant, your garden. So what I do, you can't really see the eggshells in there, because what I do is I wash it really good just to make sure the bacteria it's gone. And then on top of that, I put it in the oven and bake it for a few minutes.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then I put in the blender together with my leftover coffee grounds, and I mix that together. And that's also I add in the soil.
So the coffee grounds is going to be like your used coffee grounds.
Yes, my used coffee grounds. And I think they said it's because, I forgot what it says in there.
Because I used to do that when I was in an office.
Know why you don't do your fresh coffee straight?
If you guys know, let us know.
I forgot the answer to that.
Yeah, but I used to work in the office, and I would always collect the coffee grounds, and everyone's like, what are you doing? I go, I'm trying to garden, but I only did the coffee grounds. I never did it with the eggshell.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now you have the coffee grounds and the eggshell. And now, do you use that as a fertilizer? Do you use that as the soil? What do you use it for?
I use it as a fertilizer, and it's also supposed to be good in repelling certain bugs.
Oh,
pests.
like
Yeah.
what kind of bugs and pests?
I'm not sure.
I guess just
It's
whatever
a
gets
lot.
on your-
Exactly.
Oh, good.
I'm not sure yet. And then last year, I got like probably 3 or 4 bins of those big containers of used coffee from one of our friends in church, Sophia. She works from the school, and she brought it here, and I'm like, oh, cool. And I think it really helped the garden.
Oh, nice. Yeah. See, like the coffee grounds I've done, the eggshell, because my mom, she would just like throw it in there. And I'm like, no, it does not look pretty. But she doesn't wash it. She just throws it out there like as soon as she cracks the egg, then she'll bring it out there. And I'm like, yeah, no, it doesn't look pretty. See, but that one all ground, then it's fine.
So it'll be faster to get absorbed as well and decompose.
Now, because our soil here is so bad, do you actually have to buy like potting soil?
I do. Next year, I'm planning to buy from the bigger places where they can deliver the whole truckload.
Yeah.
Because it saves more money, and I know they have more healthy soil compared to like buying bags from the big box stores. But I try to be mindful on what kind of things are in the soil, so I try to stay with organic again. And I don't use the synthetic fertilizer, because sometimes even though it says it sounds like it's a good soil mix, but if you look and read in it, they still have those synthetic fertilizers.
Because, you know, when I go to like Home Depot or Lowe's, I see the different potting soils. How do you know which one? Like, is there something specific for outdoors and indoors?
Yes.
Is there something specific for plants versus veggies?
Yes. Let's just start with the indoor and outdoors. It's really important for you not to use a soil that has a lot of like composting materials, because you're gonna have a lot of fine ants inside your house. So try to find the one that's indoor or your indoor plant.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's I don't use potting soil or potting mix by itself, because it will dry out and it will not sustain the nutrients your plant needs. So I do my own mix. Now I don't measure, just like when I'm cooking, I don't have measurements.
Yeah.
But technically, I can show you whenever you're ready. We can do a mix of soil to plant our tomatoes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So
yeah. So what are you mixing?
So we'll just use our little pot right here.
First of all, she's proud to be Texan. If you guys come here to her house, you will see everything Texas.
I really embraced it already.
I haven't embraced Texas yet.
I'm very easy to adapt. I mean, I'm easy to adapt anything, I guess. But we lived in California for a long time, but I grew up in the Philippines.
Yeah, I enjoy Texas, but I still, I'm still from California. Okay, so what are you using?
This one, I just literally, because I got this last night from Walmart, and it says it's from the back. I don't know if we're doing any brand here, but it's organic potting mix. It's really good for your vegetables. So I put that in there. And
now, of course, if it's organic, it's going to cost more, huh?
Yeah.
Man, so this whole gardening thing could be pretty expensive.
Yeah. A lot of people, my husband actually say like, it's actually cheaper just to go in the grocery and buy your vegetables than sustain a garden.
Yeah.
But I told him, where's that little thing? Gardening is better than therapy.
Oh, that's what I see that sign back there. I do see that. And you know what? It's probably cheaper than therapy too.
Yes.
JR did put something in the chat. Go ahead and keep doing that. He says, if I don't have a compost dog, I want to do composting. So I think he feeds all his food to his dog. Because I don't know if dogs are supposed to be eating human food, right? And then Brother Oliver Villanueva says, aerating soil is important so oxygen gets to the roots. Oxygen for the roots and CO2 on the leaves. So what is aerating?
So technically, make sure that there's a good drainage on your soil, so that the water and the nutrients, it goes on all the way into your roots and your plant.
So then that means you really have to have the planters that have holes in the bottom.
Yes, because if it rains so hard and then it's just will rot the roots of your plant, and then you ended up putting a dead plant.
Okay, and then see, she's got gloves on
because I had to hold cow poop.
Oh, where do you get cow poop?
Well, this one is really cheap, and I've been using it for a while now. It's from the big box store.
Why don't you go to your neighbors? They gotta have some cows around here.
Horses and goats, right?
Oh.
We don't have cows
Okay.
yet.
So is that different? Horse poop and cow poop?
I think so.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, supposedly.
Okay. Okay. So what did you put in here so far? You
So
did the soil.
I got the potting soil mix, and then I added the compost with the cow manure in there.
Okay.
And then usually I can add some organic fertilizer,
Okay.
the granules, and just to help it boost. And then, but I don't have that right now.
That's okay.
And then I always add this earthworm castings, just like with your current soil that's established. I usually have the earthworm already that will poop in there and do the magic for me. But whenever it's a fresh garden or a pot, I add this because it will feed your plant naturally, and it has a lot of things in there that will improve your soil.
So what is earthworm? It's not going to grow earthworms, right?
No. It's their organic matter, so it's
Okay.
like poop.
So it's their poop. Okay. So Brother Christian Ross is asking you, what is your favorite plant?
That's very broad. Plant general or
So
vegetable?
not
or...
vegetables or fruits. I'm thinking plants, right? If they say plants, it's like ferns or whatever, or flowers.
Oh, I love growing sunflowers.
Yes,
I think
I
you
saw you have some.
cannot really go wrong. Like birds will eat sunflower seeds. If they didn't eat it, it'll poop it. It will grow. And I have different varieties. There's some right now that can grow up to 16 feet. And then at the end of the season, it's like the head of the sunflower is like technically like triple my head. And then we roast it, or I use the seeds for next.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, what else are we putting in there?
I think I didn't put enough, but that's pretty much it. Not just straight potting mix.
And so it is a mixture of everything that you've had.
Yeah, and we can put this.
And then you're going to put that.
Yeah.
Now, how much of that do you normally put?
Sorry, I don't measure.
I mean, but it's like,
Yeah.
does it matter how much you put in? Like you could put a little, you could put a lot. Does it matter?
I'm not sure to answer that, but I just kind of do like little mixture of magic in there.
Okay.
And believe that it will grow.
Hey, you know what? Whatever works, right?
Okay. So we're gonna try to show you before that I did not know how to. So I usually don't buy this from the big box, but just for the sake of today's show, I did went and got a couple tomato plants in here. So just a little information in there. When you're buying tomatoes, you have to know what kind they are, not like the variety. I mean, I guess the variety, you need to know that there's one that will just bear fruit and be done. And there's some that will be fruiting all season long. So I have some tomatoes in here that actually were bearing fruits nonstop till the first snow.
Okay.
So there's a determinate and indeterminate.
So how do you know which one only grows once and one and done?
Okay, I have to look it up.
Oh,
So because
okay.
a lot of the stores, they will not label them. Some they will label them.
Okay.
So if you're not sure, you just pull up your phone and you'll know if it's a determinate and indeterminate. So I like to grow both, but my favorites are indeterminate.
Of course.
They'll just grow, but you can trellis them, you have to support them and all that.
Yes.
And another tip that I want you to remember, if you're buying from the big stores or any store, try to buy the one that has two in there. Because it's priced for one plant, but then you have two in there. So
that's true.
Yeah, you can do that. And then I guess we'll start with this one. This is indeterminate. So it will grow taller and bear fruits. So main thing is, before I start gardening, or when I first started, I didn't know technically what I'll do is I'll just put this straight on the top.
Yes, that's what I do.
So to make it stronger, you see those little fine hairs on the tomatoes?
Yes.
Anything that's under the soil, those will grow roots. So the more roots, the more stable, the more healthier, and it can grow bigger. And
so what do you do? Do you add more soil?
What I do is that, I'm actually gonna, don't be scared and feel bad for breaking all the bottom leaves. The taller they are, the better. So I just do that, probably up to there. And then if I'm planting this on the garden bed or directly on the ground, I'll probably do this laterally this way, and then just do it this way. Because everything, like what I said in there,
so that way it's already in the soil.
Exactly.
But it won't break?
No, you just gotta be careful. Of course, yeah, yeah, it's like that. So what I'm gonna do, that's how I'm gonna plant this instead of straight. You can do straight as well, but you just gotta make sure do it deeper. So you can probably like bury it all the way up to here. Just make sure that the leaves, the bottom leaves, doesn't touch the soil, because that's another thing that you want to make sure you don't do, especially when you're watering. Don't overhead water, and do not let the leaves touch the ground, because that's when you kind of introduce them from being risk for having diseases.
So maybe that's my thing, because I do water from right above.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. So then if you plant it in this planter,
Yes.
how long are you going to keep it in the planter before you take it out and put it out?
Oh, no, this can grow this way the whole time.
And you're just going to leave it there?
Yeah, as long as you, maybe every month you put fertilizer in it.
But will it stunt the growth if it's encased in here, or it could just get big in here also?
There's certain vegetables. Yeah. He was kind of telling me. I had one. This is probably like a 10-gallon. Yeah. You have to look it up too and learn like what kind of size of pot, if you're gonna do potting, gardening, what size is the minimum so that it will grow.
Yeah.
The roots will have enough space for it. But he was telling me, like, we had one last year. It actually climbed up the tree from this kind of size.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
See, I want to go back into gardening, but my problem is when I go places and I'm not home, it tends to die because it doesn't water. So what's your solution? Because I know you guys are not home 24/7. I know you guys go places.
So last year we were gone out of country for like over 3 weeks.
Okay.
And it was during the prime time of growing. So what I did, as soon as the last frost date, I planted everything on the ground. We made sure there's a watering system that I can control on my phone. And then what else? What else would you do? That's pretty much it. The watering system. You don't have to have these fancy things. They're not really actually fancy. If you watch videos online, there's a lot of better that we use.
Yeah, no, these are fancy for me.
But you can also start like all the way in the back. I have more plants over there. You can do the soaker hose.
Yes.
And then you just buy one of those things that you attach from your faucet, and it has a timer as well.
Oh, that sounds good.
Ours is battery operated, but it will last for the whole season. And you can time it, what time, how many times a day, for how long.
Okay, I'm going to have to look into that.
And that's what I have all the way in the back.
Because the other hacks I've seen, and let me know if it works or not, is people would have like a soda bottle, and then they would put like a Q-tip at the end, and then that would drip.
Yeah.
Now, does that really work though? That's what I want to know.
I tried it one time, maybe in certain part of the country or wherever you live, it may work. But if it's in the heat of the summer, it's not going to be enough.
That dripping's not enough. But if it was indoors,
I've used that on my indoor plant. They also actually have those, looks like an IV drip.
Okay.
There's a little bag, and you can control how much rate and all that. Yep, there's a lot of dripping systems now.
Yeah, because that's my problem. Every time I go places, my plants would be dead when I come home because no one's watered it. I'm willing to give anyone my key. Just come over and water my plants, right?
And not only that, with those dripping system too, you can like buy those tips that you screw on the bottle.
I've seen
like
those.
Soda bottles, a little of soda waters.
It didn't work too well.
Yeah, it didn't drip too well for me too.
Or else maybe I just bought the cheap ones from Amazon. But it was funny. Brother Romy here said, when I was in the province, I spit out watermelon seeds and they grew.
Oh, yes.
It does happen, you know. A lot of things do happen in the wild. So, yes. And so they want to know, how can they grow a calamansi tree? Do you have any calamansis here by any chance?
Okay, I wish last year I bought a calamansi tree and then it bore a lot of fruits. But this year, what happened is I had it outside too early. So I think all that crazy weather, then suddenly freeze date and all that, all the blooms just kind of fell off, and they did not turn into fruit this year. Same thing with my lemon, but it looks good right now. That's the second year lemon.
Yes.
And it gave me, for that tall, it gave me like 15 lemons last year.
Yes.
They're so juicy and the best lemon I've ever had.
They are. We used to have a lemon tree at the house.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. We would pick all the lemons. I mean, like, we could never get to all of them because there was so much. And we would give it away, and we still had a lot left. Now, here's my question. I see now you're planting flowers.
Yes.
why are you planting flowers with your tomatoes? Oh, and
Okay.
basil.
Yes. See, all you need is cheese later, and you have
Pizza.
pizza or what do you call that other Italian dish?
Caprese.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so why are you putting them all together in one pot? Because I've never done that.
So like what I mentioned, I don't really do synthetic pesticides or anything like that. This is what I call like companion planting.
Okay.
So if you look it up, there's so many information about companion planting. And I actually plan out my garden before I start the season. I have a map. I'm OCD.
Wow. Oh, wow.
If you look at that.
All right. This is her map of her garden. So y'all could see. Okay.
So I have to know what grows well together and what doesn't.
She got pictures. It's not just like names, actual pictures of things. Oh. You could make like Sinigang out of your garden.
Yes. So as simple as the tomato plant. So marigold is like probably the best friend of all gardeners.
Okay.
You see a lot of gardeners, they have them everywhere because they're natural pest or bugs repellent. So instead of like attacking your plant, they don't like the smell from it, so they stay away from it. And then the basil right here, I love basil. It helps the tomato to grow better and have juicier and sweeter tomatoes.
See, when I was growing things, I was doing it all separate. Like I did all the basil together, I did all the mint together, I did all the tomatoes.
Yes.
I never thought of mixing.
Yeah, so you also hear a lot of gardeners, they do the spacing and all that stuff. But I kind of started leaning to like almost chaos gardening at one point. Chaos gardening meaning you just throw whatever seeds you have and you just wish what grows.
Yeah.
But I'm still very mindful about what can grow together, because there's some plants or vegetables that they will fight the nutrients or they will attract the bugs that actually will eat up that type of vegetable. So just be mindful on this.
I think I'm not going to just start doing it again. Okay, this is funny because Nate had put in here, if I tried to grow weeds, they'd probably die. You think that's what would be growing in the backyard right now? Okay, so before we continue on, AJ's got the second thinking cap question ready to go. So AJ, go ahead and get us on our second thinking cap. See, seriously, I never thought to mix things together. So that's good to know. Do you suggest anything else besides marigolds?
Oh yes, there's a lot. So if you see those little brown thing, and I told you want to eat a flower, because you can literally eat the whole plant from the leaves, from the seeds, from everything. That one, it's called nasturtiums. It's so pretty and they grow from seeds really well. It also attracts certain bugs. Stay away from your main vegetable.
Okay. So we're having technical difficulties. Just give me a thumbs up when you're good to go. Because I do, and that's what I noticed when I was walking earlier. You had different things planted, but then you had flowers, and I always wondered why. So now it's good to know.
And not only that, I want to attract pollinators, the bees, the butterflies, the dragonflies, and all that, because they help my fruits too.
Okay. Now I do see you have strawberries. What do you do with the strawberries? Just by themselves?
By themselves, and then this year I planted them together with my asparagus bed, because strawberries, they don't have deep roots, but the asparagus, it's from the roots that they actually grow better, so they don't compete.
Oh, that's good.
They're really good for each other.
That's good. All right, so AJ, go ahead with our second thinking cap.
What cut flower is the most popular for purchase? J, lilies. K, sunflowers. L, roses. M, daisies.
Yeah. So it's okay. We could go back to the other one later. Don't worry. Yes, don't worry. We will have an E, F, G, and H. Okay, just do this for now. It's okay. So what is the cut flower that is most popular for purchase? And whatever it is, I think husbands, that's what your wife wants. All right. So maybe go out and get them some. Very good. So only type in the letters, and then we will get your scores. Okay. So then, what else did we have? That we were gonna do.
I can show you this, but it's not quite ready. I don't know if our viewers see it. Growing potatoes. That's really easy too. If you want to try to grow potatoes, most of the time we have some potatoes in our pantry that we forget, and it start having some sprouts.
Yes.
please don't eat those and don't throw them because you can still make use of those. So a lot of my potatoes, I have probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grow bags in here, and I have different varieties. I have the red, the yellow, and the purple ones. They all grew from old potatoes that had sprouts.
Okay.
The thing it's really fun growing potatoes because compared to other plants or vegetables, potatoes doesn't grow down. It actually grows up.
Okay.
So you have to bury the potatoes with the sprouts all the way in the bottom of your pot or your soil.
Okay.
And then as it sprouts new leaves, you put more soil until you fill up your grow bag or your pot.
Okay.
And then once it's all done, it will produce this really nice green leaves, and then it will flower. And then when do we know when it's ready? This is probably maybe another week before I can harvest them. So don't be sad if you start seeing them looking like they're dying now. They start yellowing. That's actually the sign that when it's getting closer to harvest them. And what we like about it, when it's ready, we just dump it in a wheelbarrow or in the ground, and then we just kind of find out, did anything grow, how many, and all that stuff. So it's fun.
So you don't just pull it out. You dump the whole.
And then just dig around the soil.
And then are you going to reuse that soil?
I have, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we call it every new season, or when you reuse your soil, you call that process amending. So you amend, meaning add nutrition to your soil that's old, and you can reuse it. I don't buy soil every year.
Yes.
I just probably amend it, meaning get it ready for better soil mix and nutrition.
So let's say you put in one potato, right? Because now it's going to have all the different sprouts.
Yes.
How many potatoes do you normally get out of that one potato?
The one potato, actually, I cut it in. Depends on how many sprouts. As long as it has a sprout, you can cut those into pieces.
Okay.
You can actually have four roots or plant out of that.
So for each sprout will be one potato.
No, it can be more.
It could be more.
Yeah, it could be more. Yep. That's why I like it, because at the end, some it will be success, some it's not. But when it is, you're like, oh yeah, one potato turned into like 10 or 12.
So is that just like your regular russet potatoes? Can you do that also like with your sweet potatoes?
Oh yes. Sweet potatoes. My husband loves the actual sweet potato, so that's for him later. I eat it too, but me, it's more of the what do you call that? Help me out. The leaves. The top.
Yeah.
The end, because we eat that.
Oh, you do.
It's really rich in iron, so it's really good.
I
just
know.
Steam it or boil it with your fish and any Filipino dishes.
Okay. I don't know about that one. Okay. Let's go to our next thinking cap. Don't mind the letters. Okay, just go with whatever's letters are. Let's go to that one, just so that we can get that one done and over with. And then after that, we'll show you guys a leaderboard for the past 4 weeks, because like I said, this is going to be the last one for this month. And then starting next week, we have a new one. So hopefully whoever's in the lead is actually watching today and getting their points so that they can stay in the lead. But hey, I think from the lead to the other one was only like 1 or 2 points, so you could still catch up. Ready? Go ahead.
All right, so our next thinking cap, what flower has the smallest seed? E, sunflower, F, marigold, G, orchid, or H, bachelor's button?
Okay, it was on there. So yeah. So what's a flower that has the smallest seed? Go ahead and put E, F, G, or H, and then that way we can see which one it is. So AJ, you want to go ahead and do the leaderboard now, since that way you just click on the next one and click on one more, and then that way we could do the leaderboard now and you don't have to worry about going back and forth again. All right, so put in your answers. Leaderboard so far, we've got it coming up. And go ahead, is it displayed? There you go, just one time and then it'll start running. Okay, so there's our leaderboard. Hopefully your name's on there. Hopefully it pops up. Yes. Okay, so those are our leaders. Like I said, keep tuning in and do the answer. As long as you tune in every week, a lot of times, you're able to guess the answers. So, did it all scroll already?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there they are. Now it's going. There it's going. So right now in the lead we have Mila Johnson. Can't remember where they're from. We have Rose Warwick, which I think they're from. Are they Lubbock? I think they're Lubbock, Warwick, or are they Oklahoma? I can't remember. Sorry. Fredolin is and Ron Seaman. They're next, and then Norby. We've got Norby coming in there with Oliver Gabentrina and you could still win, right? So good luck to our leaders. Hopefully, like I said, you guys will keep tuning in, and we'll do that one. Okay, so there was a question for you. Is what is Imelda just puts in there that she loves gardening. She doesn't buy compost either, that she would make her own. She dries leaves and plus kitchen waste so not to spend money, which I think is a great idea, which I think is what I need to do because I used to buy everything. And so that's not really a good thing. So what is, do you have a story that you can share about one of the benefits of having your own garden?
Story.
Mm-hmm. Or, what have you gained out of having your garden?
It makes me happy.
Why does it make you happy?
I love being outdoors.
Okay.
Moving to Texas, it's kind of everything's far apart.
Yes.
We used to hike a lot and all that stuff. So now I just go in the backyard and I'm still outdoor. I hear all the birds. I see my plant from little seed to grow really 16 feet tall. And not only that, I love cooking. So I love it when it's like first thing in the morning, we want to cook something. And then, oh, AJ, can you grab some of that Malabar spinach, put it in your sandwich or anything like that. Instead of like going to the store, and I usually have the one that I commonly cook here. And I love to share too. So at work, at church, at the beginning of the season this year, actually, it's so funny. Everyone bring their seedlings and we do a plant swap.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So all we have to do is make our grocery list and take it from your garden.
Yes.
No, that is pretty cool. So before we end, though, we do have a video to show for activities that we held over the weekend. So Kuyata, you can go ahead and play that video. Was our Unity Games last weekend. So we'll go ahead and watch that video.
The District of South Central States held a Unity Games activity in Mansfield, Texas. Brethren from around the district that includes the states of Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee gathered together in this activity to compete in a volleyball and chess tournament and dodgeball for the children. The chess tournament comprised of Binhi, Kadiwa, and booklet categories with brethren intensely employing tactics to win their games. The matches included the use of a timer and recording of moves to elevate the level of play in this tournament. In the volleyball tournament, men's and women's teams competed in pool play with teams very evenly matched, coming down to point spread to determine who would compete for the top spots in the district. We're going to close out this special reporting of the Unity Games with this very dramatic finish from the local of Baton Rouge with their game-winning spike. This is Brother Nathan Russell from INCRadio South Central States reporting on the 2025 Unity Games.
Just in case anyone missed Unity Games, next time you all should go because it is a lot of fun. It's nice to see brethren from different parts of our district join. And, they came from 8 different states, and so it's a good thing. But I do want to give a shout out to Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Louisiana, because both their men's and their women's volleyball team won, but they just didn't win. This is like a three-peat for them. So keep up the good work. That was just a tense game, and I thought that was like the coolest thing. So for those people who, maybe they're scared to garden because, like I said, for me, I was scared to start because I figured I would just kill everything that I planted, right? Or, what advice can you give people who want to start out, and what can they do like for the indoor plants to keep bugs out? Because that's my biggest problem.
Let's start with that one. For the indoor plants, I used to suffer from a lot of fly nets, and my husband hates it because you're talking and it's just like, oh, it goes there. Or while you're asleep, it just keeps flying around. So make sure that you don't overwater. Test your soil. You can feel it. If the top of the soil is still wet, do not water it. My plants indoor, I don't know if you've seen them. I have plants that grows all the way in the ceiling. I probably water them like once every 2 weeks and I forget about them, but they're alive. But it keeps me away from a lot of bugs. Make sure you don't keep them wet all the time.
I think that was my problem. I was watering it like every other day because I thought you needed to.
No.
Okay, so that's one thing. That's good to know. I'm going to try that and see if it works.
And then for gardening, like my vegetable garden here, I started small. I probably had 2 raised beds on the first year, and then not everything actually was a success. So if you love what you do, you just, with anything else in this world, you just gotta keep doing it and trying as a trial and error. Eventually you'll find a good recipe for things, just like my zucchini. Like what I said, 3 years, and it's my first year growing it successfully without being overcome by what they call squash vine borers. Mm-hmm. So I had to use a technique to prevent them from eating them.
Is there something that you planted, let's say today, that actually bears fruit this year? Like you don't have to wait a whole year. Is there something that grows right away that you could plant?
I don't think I have that I can think of.
So everything takes at least, like, so if you did it from the seed.
The fastest that I've grown in this garden, and I use it not only for eating, but also I use it as a trap crop, so bugs will go in there, or a good soil covering because it will provide shade on the roots of the plant. Radish. There's some variety that will be ready for you to harvest as early as 24 days.
Oh, wow.
Less than a month. Yep.
Yeah.
That's probably the fastest.
And then the trees, those take longer, right? Like lemon trees.
Yes. We have a peach tree in here. It's the second year. When we bought it, it was already probably about 5 feet tall. Mm-hmm. It had a little fruits in there. You're not supposed to eat them yet, but we tried. It was really good. You're supposed to sacrifice those first fruits so that it will focus on making the tree healthier and stronger first. But this year it has more, so we're excited.
What if you can't resist that temptation?
I guess you just have to find out. But it's alive and it's bearing more fruits this year.
That's good. What is the easiest thing you think? Like if somebody wanted to start with something, whether it's a fruit or a veggie, because with flowers, yes, they're pretty and all, but you can't. Most of them you can't eat. Yes. But if there was like a fruit or a veggie that you think would be the easiest, where we would plant it and it would survive and it will motivate us to keep going, what would you suggest?
Okay. I would suggest from seeds, you have to start bitter melon. If you're Filipino, you eat
no bitter melon.
You don't do okra.
I won't do okra, but no bitter melon.
Start those from seeds because they don't really like being disturbed once you have them on the ground. What else? AJ, do you have a favorite in the garden? Tomatoes? Yeah, they're really easy too. You just gotta remember, don't overwater. Make sure the bottom leaves, they don't get wet and get dirt.
So, if you have a lot of okras to spare, I know who you can give them to. Brother Andre just loves okra.
With the okra, though, you just have to be really diligent in harvesting, because once they start fruiting, you got to make sure you cut them on a certain size. If you let them grow old on the plant, it's not going to be good for the next ones. They're all going to be viney and hard.
Oh, okay. Now for the okra, because it's hard, right? When you take it, it shouldn't be soft, or should it be soft?
It should be soft. When it's hard already, that means you left it too long. It's
so it should be soft.
Yes.
And then that's why it's kind of slimy.
Yes. And when cooking the okra, there's a technique to prevent them from being too slimy.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you ever tried cooking it as a fried okra?
Yes.
And how do they come out?
They're good.
Because that's my favorite. Okay, but what do you dip the fried okra in?
I just use some flour and then seasoning.
No, to eat it when you eat it. Come on, we're from California. You have to dip it in ranch.
Ranch, yes.
If you do okra,
Yes.
you know, when I first came to Texas and I did that with my coworkers, they looked at me like I was crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys try it first because I guarantee you're gonna like it. They're like, no ranch. Well, they tried the ranch, and guess what? Now they're all eating okra with their ranch. Yes, it is a California thing, but guess what? It does taste good. And I did learn fried okras when I came down here to the South. When I went to Louisiana, that was the first place I tried it, and it was really, really good. And so besides your peach tree, do you have any other trees that actually have fruits right now?
Have fruits right now? Well, not yet. We just planted a fig tree this year. It's kind of the dwarf kind, so hopefully next year will bear fruit. We have a persimmon tree that's been there for the last 3 years, but this year is the first time that actually shows more some life.
Okay, but you know there's like two different kinds of persimmons, right?
Yes.
There's the flat ones, which is the ones that you can eat, and then the bigger, longer ones usually are the cooking persimmons. So which ones do you have?
I have the fruiting one that you eat.
Okay, so when that comes around, you let me know. And
then we have a pomegranate tree here that will die. It looks like it's gonna be dead at the end of winter. Please do not dig it; it will grow back. But we haven't bear fruits from it because that's from California.
Yeah,
I brought it from my old garden and planted it there. My brother's though, the one plant that I gave to him, it had fruits last year.
You know what? My mom does that.
Yeah.
Every time because my parents retired, they're in the Philippines now. They live in Baguio, and so every time she comes to California, she will take all the different plants that she has there and take it back to the Philippines, and then she would grow it there, and then that way she doesn't buy it. Yeah. So the only thing was when I was growing up, we had a persimmon tree, and it was nasty. Because it was the long one. And we didn't know. We thought that was a fruit. And when you would eat it, it just didn't taste good. So I'm like, oh, I don't like persimmons. And then finally, my sister gave me one of the shorter ones. And I'm like, this is so delicious. But see, we didn't know that when we were beginning, you know. So yes. Okay, so then now if your soil is really bad, then you really have to do a raised garden. Is that necessary?
Yes, I think that's one of the things that will make you have a more successful or chance on growing your vegetables better. In here, I have that because our soil is really dry, rocky, and it's clay.
Yes.
So a lot of it, I have some areas where I did a ground planting. You just have to really amend it with a lot of good stuff in there.
Oh, so you really do have to put you have to put it. So Rose Warwick did say boiled okra dipped in spicy vinegar with bagoong.
Oh yes, that's my favorite.
Shrimp paste.
Yes.
I haven't tried that yet.
Yep, with some fried fish on the side and some seafoods. I'm gonna be putting away my spoons and pork. I'll be using my hand with that kind of dish.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the okras I've only had would be like in sinigang and stuff, and then I would do the fried okra. That's usually the only ways I eat okra. I haven't tried that one with the vinegar and bagoong. So I don't know. If you guys have any other gardening tips, please feel free to share it in the chat. Thank you for all those who did participate in our chat. Hopefully you guys learned something. I learned something. Right now, all my plants are dead. I think the only thing that's alive is the amaryllis. Because that one, you really don't have to water as much. And so even when I leave, it's still alive. I'm sad because I had plumerias from Hawaii that died because I brought it outside, which I shouldn't have. So I think I'm going to be inspired to try gardening again. Hopefully it will survive. I'm just not going to bring it outside because it is too hot in the summers here. I'm just going to keep it inside. So if you have any other suggestions, any thoughts, anything you'd like to share, please feel free to share it in our chat. So before we go, do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I think I told my family and relatives, and hopefully they're watching from Philippines and from San Diego. And Lola Tess, she's my next door neighbor, but she's a Lola. I actually like seeing her too when we were living in San Diego because she will literally plant anything, it will grow as well. So when I found out that I'm going to be a guest today, I sent her a little message on Facebook and I told her, Lola, make sure you watch.
Good for you.
And all our friends here in Fort Worth from our church, my coworkers, whoever's watching right now, hopefully you learned something. And like what I said, I'm still learning. So please feel free to say something on the chat and we'll read them later. Thank you.
And I want to give a shout out to AJ because thank you for being our
Yes.
last minute tech person because Nate's on vacation. But hopefully he'll be back next week because as you can see, we're very low tech here. We can't post your chats up because, yeah, I can't do that. So before we go, as always, we want to say thank you to our INC radio station manager, Brother Wally Taray. And praises be to our Almighty God for appointing a current Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo. And of course, thank you to our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you for allowing us to have shows like this where we can share what we know. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully you'll tune in again next week. We'll see ya.
Bye.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the